Right, so this is the update on the Arid bed cover. We're got some quite harsh light at the moment, so I hope it's coming out alright. You're going to see my shadow a bit. So like I said, this is just quite a straightforward lean-to situation. We've got an 8-foot by 5-foot roof area, which it's hard to tell on camera, but it is slanted downwards. So that is just like a old pallet framework, and then we've connected a downward slanting angled sort of side wall, if you like, just to stop the rain when it's windy and rain, to stop the rain sort of coming underneath. Let's see if I can get in and have a look at the underneath. So that's what it looks like, sort of underneath there. And as soon as you come in here, even though it's open at the sides, that does warm up slightly. It's a few degrees warmer in there. But yeah, the objective is to keep everything dry and sort of frost-free, and stop the frost coming down, and definitely stops everything getting too wet. So we talked about the sort of plants we've got in here, sort of succulents, cactus, some more sort of arid palms like the Brahea Mata and the Phoenix dactylifera. So I know, looking at it, you think, oh well, that's looking a bit sort of fragile, but trust me, this is solid. I've got a solid bit of batten along the fence. It's not connected to the fence itself. There's a solid bit of wood which is connected to along the fence, so sort of structurally on the concrete posts. So the roof is coming off that. Then we've got these 1.5-inch stakes which are going into the ground a good foot into the raised area. And then we've got, these are only inch stakes, but again these are going in the ground a good foot, so these are totally solid. So the sideward bracing and sort of support for the clear plastic, that's all. There's very, very little movement in that. I'm giving that a good push. That's nice and solid. So this has got to hold up to, we do get winds in winter, so it's not unheard of to get 80, 100 mile per hour winds. First year I built this raised arid bed area, I just had like a poly tunnel cover, and that was blowing about all over the place. No matter how much you sort of try to reinforce it and stake it down, and that's just all over the place. So last year I built a solid plastic, like that corrugated clear plastic, and that worked very well. That's nice and strong. That's a lot more planning and assembly, where this one, like I say, it's just literally a wooden structure, and then I've got some nice clear plastic. So the stuff I'm using, like I say, this is stuff was actually going to get chucked out. We used at work for the COVID screening, so it is totally flexible. It is UV rated as well, so it's not going to degrade in the sun. And that is, don't know if you can see that, it's probably a good 2 mil thick, so it's strong, it's not going to tear. But what I did do, as you can see, every screw I put on like a waterproof rubber seal, not so much to keep it waterproof, but just to sort of support the clear plastic itself, so it's not all on like the screw head where it could sort of the wind bubble about and sort of tear the plastic sheeting as such. This is just going to distribute the pinch a bit more, so it's not going to, got no chance of tearing on that. It just drives me crazy, it's making cheap waterproof sort of screw plugs, and they keep popping open. But like I say, that's not the end of the world. I'm not worried about, you know, totally being waterproof. I mean, I could glue them down if I wanted to, but they are going to pop open. I'm not too fussed about that. So yeah, I mean, basically we've got the a roof which is slightly slant, and we've got a angled, which is slightly more angled one end than the other, just to because we do get the wind sort of coming in from this direction, so that's a little bit lower this side, so it's not going to sort of catch the wind too much. And plus, because it's all open inside, it's not like a sail where it's going to sort of catch the wind. The wind can blow straight through. It's open from one side all the way to the other, so it's only this here. And I obviously put a little bit, I don't know if you can see it actually, because so quite clear, but we've got a bit here as well, just on the corner, just to stop the rain coming into the aeoniums there. So the benefit of doing this, and it's not that cold yet, but you know, we get a lot of rain this time of year, and we do really want a lot of these succulents to dry out a bit. And like I say, I do raise the temperature inside there a couple of degrees, even though it's open, like I say, and the wind can pass through it. I do seem a little bit warmer inside. So yeah, the point is we can do it now, let everything dry out, and hopefully keep it nice and dry over winter, and everything should pull through. So I did leave a good overlap on the edges and sort of just tie wrapped that so it can't blow open too much, so that's going to protect the side. Obviously last year I did sort of carry on the protection all the way across, but like I explained in the last video, this yucca was below fence level then, so I could cover the whole load of, there were three yuccas here, and they were covered last year, but this year they're not going to get that luxury, so we'll see how they do. Like I say, I've got other yucca jewels, and this is the only sort of variegated elephantites I've got, but that seems to be pretty hardy. I think the jewel is the one that's slightly less, or going to show more damage, let's say, because it's sort of lighter foliage. But I've got some in the front and others in the back, and they you know, you get a little bit of spotting on them, but in general they survive the winter no problem. Yeah, so that is the Arid cover in its pretty much finished form. Like I say, it's a solid structure. I mean, the only concern was that sort of side to side movement, if you do get like a side arm wind. I mean, I have put a bit of side bracing on, stuck in the ground nice and solid, and secured in two places to stop any side to side rocking. But I mean, I'm not ruling out that I may, you know, we'll see over the next few weeks, see it reacts to the wind, see if there's any movement. If I do get a little bit of movement there, then I can always brace it a bit more. I don't like to overdo it straight away, because a lot of the time it's not necessary. I mean, you know, we do get storms in the winter and we do get strong winds, but it'd have to be something pretty substantial to take this out, I think. And I know you're looking at that thinking, oh, don't look like much, but trust me, that is solid. I've actually leant over that and leaned on it to get on the top, and that's held my weight, so that's should do the trick for that. So that's really the only main protection I'm going to do this year when it comes to the garden. Like I say, normally I would, let's have a quick walk up, I would in past years I've built a whole structure over the centre bed here to cover the smaller palms, but they've been out for 4 winters now, and they've put on a bit of growth. I mean, they're cold hardy, so we'll see how they go. I'm not going to protect them. The only thing I might protect if we get a severe frost is the sago palm at the front here, But other than that, we'll see how it goes. We'll play it, but yeah, I might just put a bit of frost cloth on that if and when we get a particularly harsh frost. I mean, last year we didn't get down to, the lowest we got down to was about -2.5. And don't get me wrong, we had sort of several freezers, 10 or 12 sort of frosty mornings, but nothing, no deep freezers, just a bit of light frost. Yeah, so that is it for the cover on the Arid bed. I did actually finish this yesterday. I spent probably about 6 hours doing that, so that's not a big deal. It didn't really cost me anything. I read all the bits, and like I said, luckily enough, I got the thick plastic stuff for free as well. That's going to get chucked out, so I saved that from going into landfill. So yeah, just keep your eyes open and think about what sort of materials could come in handy for stuff. I like to recycle where I can and also save a few quid. Like I say, this one was done yesterday in about 6 hours. Today I have been moving any remaining house plants in because we've been getting some cool nights. I mean, last night we got down to about 5 degrees, I believe. So I mean, even though, you know, that's not really going to harm anything, that's not going to do it any good either. So especially when it comes to house plants, there are still a few bits about. I've just noticed I've got the bromeliad at the back there, fireball, and I have still got my bromeliads on the trunk of the Trachycarpus, so I'll be bringing them in pretty soon. I mean, to be fair, they do tend to be pretty tough plants, so they will come in before we get frosts. When I say in, they'll be going in the summer house. They don't need any special, you know, they are house plants, but they don't need any special protection over winter. They'll just stay in the summer house. Yeah, so other than the odd bromeliad here and there, I think all the house plants are now come in. All my tender palms or tropical palms from the greenhouse, they've all gone into the grow tent, which I done a video on the other week. So they've literally just gone in. I've just finished taking them in. It's looking a bit crowded and a bit messy in there, but that'll do the trick. I will do a video on that another day. Yeah, I just thought I'd grab a camera and just give you the update on the Arid bed protection. So, like I say, 8 foot along the top, 5 foot, and again another 5 foot coming down to this level, open at the sides. This is actually 10 foot along the bottom. It sort of narrows off to 8 foot at the top, so it gives a good area to, like I say, just stop the worst of the rain, and especially the biting winds in winter. You know, you can get that wind chill factor that can burn a lot of plants, especially palm trees. You can get a lot of brown tipping from that freezing cold wind and the rain. So obviously we'll keep you updated on the stuff in there. I don't think there's going to be too much to worry about there, but that is another job done for the winter. Like I say, the summer house is just about full of plants now. There's just a couple more to go in. Literally just the queen palms I've got. These are the hardy mountain form of queen palms, so they'll go in the summer house with the rest of the stuff. But other than that, everything else that is out will be staying out. Right, I think I've rambled on enough. We'll leave it there. Thanks for watching.